they're not parties to it. So how do you now begin to say they should leave the? I heard somebody in the prelude you heard this morning saying that it's Court of Appeal judgment that led to the substitution of their name to those in Senate now. That is misconceived. The question is, did the National Executive Committee of the PDP send 2 lists to INEC?
That's what they say. That's the claim that they make. They claim that their names...
Is yes, then... Yes. No.
Mr. Onu, if you
I'm
get
listening,
me...
Magwe.
Yes, they say that, that their names were already published by INEC. That's what Senator Ani Okonkwo said. That their names were already published by INEC and the time for substitution was already over when the names of these other senators were substituted with theirs.
Now the issue is, who is INEC supposed to take list from? That is the question. If Ejike sent a list, to INEC and INEC received it in error, and then realizing, based on judgments by the Supreme Court, that it is the NEC that should send lists, and now yank off the list from the state committee and replaced it with that of the NEC, in law, there is only one list that has been sent. And the Ejike list was never a list. The Ejike list is never a list because what the Supreme Court held in Emenike, in Emenike versus PDP, is that a primaries conducted by the state-led executive is an illegal contraption that confers no right and is a complete nullity.
What then is the...
So if the Supreme Court can be so clear...
Good. Go ahead.
Yes, Suleiman, I'm listening.
I was going to ask, what then is the
if the
job
Supreme Court
of
can be so...
Delayed feedback. Go ahead, Mr. Onu.
There is a delay. There is a delay. Sorry.
Go ahead.
All right. If the Supreme Court can be so clear in stating that primaries conducted by the state executive is an illegal contraption and a complete nullity, and that it is a National Executive Committee that has powers to conduct primaries and send lists to INEC, if you were INEC chairman, will you still hold the Ejike's list? Would you throw it away and replace it with the one sent by the NEC of the party? That was what INEC did.
Wouldn't you give reasons
for why
this judgment
on who can organize primaries have been decided a long time ago, before even this case?
Wouldn't you also give that party reasons as to why you're discarding a list? Why should we be assuming why INEC took a particular action that it eventually took?
INEC does not owe Ejike's led executive any explanation. INEC does not deal with branch executive committees of a party. Can you imagine how rancorous INEC would be if INEC was to deal with every state chapter of a party on election matters? Do you think INEC can never conduct election? INEC would not be able to conduct one election because every state executive committee will have crisis upon crisis upon crisis. So it is the national that INEC owes explanation. If INEC writes to the National Executive Committee saying, we have received the list you forwarded to us and have added them to the list of candidates for the election, they owe no other explanation to any arm of PDP. The rest is between them, is an internal issue. Ejike should go and tussle it out with the National Executive Committee. If there is a place where their constitution empowers him to send a delegate list, he should go to court and challenge that and say the constitution of PDP empowers me to send delegate lists, and I have sent a list, and our NEC substituted that list. That is what he should do. So but if there's no such provision in the PDP constitution empowering Ejike to send a list to INEC, then even Ejike made a comment saying he sent the list to the neck of his party. He sent the list to the neck of his party. So if you send list to neck of your party and neck sends another name, shouldn't you go to court and challenge the issue appropriately by saying that these persons were validly nominated but wrongfully substituted?
But there's been several complaints too that...
Which is a ground under the Electoral Act.
Several complaints about the judgment, which also said that the PDP, I think the NEC or NWC, should also liaise or deal with the Ogwebego-led PDP, and as such, they conducted primaries, NWC supervised it and accepted the list. So why then are they flouting it now?
Now, like I said, there is a judgment by the Supreme Court that how a party conducts its affairs cannot be probed by the court, not even the Supreme Court, as long as it is done in accordance with the Electoral Act. What it does with this constitution cannot be probed. If there is an issue, you go to court, challenge the issue, raise the points in your constitution, and say this provision in our constitution has not been followed. You can do that, but the court cannot begin to say, hey, you have not done the right thing. Now, where every party in this country has what they call National Organizing Secretary. When it comes to conduct of primaries, the National Organizing Secretary takes charge of organizing it nationwide and send his representatives to go and conduct primaries in federal constituencies, states, and everywhere. At best, the state-led executive will constitute a local kind of planning committee.
Mr.
That's
Onu, all right, we'll have to wrap it up there. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us. Silas Onu is the convener, Citizens Debate, and the Publicity Secretary of NBA Abuja. Well, we will be back in a moment. We've got another perspective coming up. Don't go away.